So I have two guests with me. I have Ella. Hi, Ella.
Hello. Hi, Jessica.
Hi. And I also have Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. So we're going to be talking about first living with sickle cell, and we're going to be hearing from Ella. Ella herself is a sickle cell warrior. And then Tony is going to be talking about being friends with a warrior, because I can imagine that it's not definitely easy, even emotionally, mentally, and physically being able to support her. And according to what I've heard them talk about, they've been friends for a very, very long time. So it's like sisters at this point. So I'm really, really excited to hear them. And I think that you will be too. So this is where I actually say that after you finish listening to this, make sure you share it with anyone, everyone, because it's important. I think that's a very, very important conversation. And like I was saying, we just did a work around Surulere to raise awareness for it. And so this is a continuation of that, where it's like we're also raising awareness using the podcast. And I am grateful to be able to have a platform where we can share this. So make sure that you share, okay? All right, enough of talking. Time is going. All right, so, obviously, the very first question would be to you, Ella.
Okay.
How do you feel being here and talking about this, actually?
Okay, so the thing is, I'm a bit nervous, but okay, I believe I can do this. Because this is more like the first time I'll be talking about sickle cell. When it comes to sickle cell, I'm always shy because of the stigma. So I don't like it when people are like, oh, you have sickle cell. Oh, you have sickle cell, living with sickle cell. So I really try to run away from that conversation, but here we are. So let's get going.
I'm honored to have you here. Like I was telling you, I've known you for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you were a warrior until I think last year when you posted something. And I was even very shy to ask you. I'm like, should I ask? Should I not ask? But I'm like, okay, let me just try it. And I think I just said, are you a warrior? And then you replied, and I was like, wow. It's like, I never would have known, So how do you even deal with people realizing or asking you that question?
Okay, so I think you asking if I was a warrior was still the decent one I have gotten so far. So people are always like, are you SS? So I had to think about it that, am I SS? Okay, yeah, I'm SS. Yes, I'm SS. So I just had to most times I get angry when people ask me, are you SS? I believe there are polite ways you can walk up to people and hack something you don't know about. Not just you coming to me and are you SS? There are times that I'm always sarcastic. I'll be like, no, I'm HS. Some still will not get it. They'll be like, oh, you're HS. Oh, okay. And that will be the end of that conversation. But some, they'll be like, so when I say I'm SS, so what? They're like, oh, you're SS. No wonder. So I'm like, no wonder what? Does I look like I'm dying? A guy, fuck off, sorry.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I can relate to not being sure of how to ask, because sometimes you don't want to trend on, and sometimes I feel like it's actually a very private thing. It's like you don't have to tell me, you don't owe me your genotype. Right. And so I'll probably ask Tony, when did you know that she was probably a sickle? Which would you prefer, SS, warrior, right?
I think we should just stick to
warrior. Okay, so let's say warrior. So when did you realize she was a warrior?
I would say it was when we were in school. H21, I would say. I didn't get to know quite early because we were not that close at first. Yeah. Okay. So I got to know with time, and I just kind of have to refrain myself from being a pity party. You understand? Yeah. I have to, because I believe one thing they don't want is you pitying, yeah, sorry, this kind of thing. So I got to know through one of our friends too, not even during one of our crises. So, and then she's still my friend though.
It didn't make you feel. Didn't make you feel it. Yeah.
No, doesn't change anything. Doesn't change anything. So
that's beautiful. I don't think, apart from you, every other person I know who's a warrior is probably people I see on social media, all of that. And because I don't know them personally, I'm not going to ask you, because I don't want you to feel a kind of way. Like you said, they don't want pity parties. So I don't want necessarily enter your DM because you posted about it and say, oh, yeah, sorry, oh, God will do it. I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm just going to, if I can comment on your post, support in any way I can, I'm going to do that. But if I don't know you personally, I'm not going to be in your space, all that kind of thing. So I know that something that was interesting actually was while I was telling you about how I found out I was AS. So guys, a very quick story, fun story actually. For like most of my life until I was about 21, I thought I was AA. Like actually, my mommy told me I was AA. And it wasn't until I had my ex, we just went for a genotype. I think he was being a good boyfriend at that point. And it's like, oh, let's just go check out genotype. And so I go, or we went together, and he goes on and he says he's AA, and then I'm AS. And I'm like, it can't be me. It's not me you're talking about. There's a mistake there. And I'm like, it's a laboratory, so they can be wrong. So I just like threw it off. And he's telling me, oh, it's no problem. I'm AA, so we can be together, that kind of thing. I'm like, I'm still not AS. I know you ain't would. I just would not have it. Until I went for a second checkup due to NYSC, and then the doctor actually confirms and drags my ear and like, ask anybody what their genotype is, your AS. And then I'm like, okay, and I had to go back to him and say, it's true. And he's like, no wahala. But anyways, that was my journey for me. But I used to think that for people who are probably warriors, that they would know from birth, their parents already know. But then Ella tells me she didn't know as well until a very long time. So Ella, tell us about that, please.
Okay, so I feel we all should know about genotype. But what happened in my own case was because I wasn't really having the crisis. So I just noticed I used to have a yellowish eyeball, which I went to the hospital, carried out some tests, and I was told, oh, you're fine. I have different genotype results. So I used to believe I was AA because I don't really fall sick. The only issue, so when people ask me, why is your eyeball yellow? I'll just tell them, oh, when I was young, I used to have typhoid. So the typhoid didn't go. And that was how I had to come up with something to tell them. Yeah. Like, why do you have a yellowish eyeball? So there was a time I walked up to my mom that, are you sure I'm fine? She said, yes, you're fine. You don't even fall sick. Because then I was schooling, I used to go to school. My ND was in Ibadan. So almost every weekend, I'm always home. I love to party. So I don't fall sick. It's just once in a while, maybe. So I feel maybe it's just malaria. Not until 2018 when I went for my HND and we all had to have a medical. Yeah. So the doctor just called me, are you aware that you are SS? I'm like, no, I'm not SS in Jesus' name. God forbid. So I was like, okay, so we need to repeat your test. Let's see. And that was it. So he had to repeat it, and it was still SS. I'm like, oh, so that explains why I always fall sick under AC. That explains why maybe after swimming, I get to have pains in my body. So I'm like, oh, okay, so this is it. So the moment I had to admit that I'm SS, so I started seeing the symptoms. Mm-hmm. So I think that was when I started knowing. So I had to now monitor myself, manage myself. So most times if I want to work, I'll be like, be careful before you go and have crisis now. So I used to have it on my, like, it's always in my head, like, oh, so now you're SS, so what next? So it started with this. I was depressed at first. I was depressed because I look at my siblings, I'm like, why can't I be like them? Like, why do I have to be the one with the sickle cell thing? Like, why do I have to be the one? But along the line, I started mingling with people that had sickle cell, and that was where I got my courage from. I used to have a friend, Olajumoke. She's now in the UK, so she's not. She carries sickle cell like she's selling bread and gari. She's always everywhere. On her status, I'm like, babe, like, how do you do it?
If she were in Nigeria, she would be here right now.
Wow.
She would be.
Like, shout out to her.
Shout out to Olajumoke. So she's always all about sickle cell. I'm sure that if we check our WhatsApp status now, we'll still see sickle cell. Like, she carried, I think in her own cases, she has been aware since when she was little. So her mom used to be a nurse. So they were able to dictate, and that was it. But in my own case, I don't even have anyone I could talk to. I grew up with different people. So I'm not really close to opening up to people because I grew up with, let's say this year you are with a distant cousin. Next year your mom is coming to pick you up. Oh, now you have to live with one auntie that is in Yaba. So I grew up moving around. So I'm always scared to open up because, I'm not used to having that that love from families at first. So when I found out that I was SS, I had to just call my mom. Oh, okay. So I ran a test, and it was like, no, you can never be SS in Jesus' name. So we had to go to a foundation at Yaba. So that was where we were able to do the test, and it was confirmed that I was SS. So I just was like, okay, so let's just pray I don't die. So that was it. That was how I started living with sickle cell. So I think my first bad experience with sickle cell was when I started dating. I met a guy and we were dating. So my first crisis was at his place. I went for an event and I had to branch at his place. So I got there. I had crisis. I honestly don't know what to do. He does not know what to do. We were both, that was my first crisis. Yeah. So I'm like, what do we do? I was like, will you take paracetamol? I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was just there crying. I was crying. I was on the floor. So I think we had to wait till like 4 a.m. for us to just go out. So I'm not going to blame him anyway. So around that time, so we came to Ikorodu on that bridge and this guy dropped me on the floor and he drove off.
Oh my God.
Like he dropped me there. I don't know what to do. So I was just like, I had to start calling for help. And you know, Nigerians, they're like, oh, yeah, she has been used. Don't near her. She has been used. Don't near her. I'm like, please just help me to any hospital around. Like, I just need help. I don't know what to do. Not until all these Agbero guys, one of them had to walk up to me. Babe, are you okay? I'm like, I'm not fine. I don't even know what is wrong with me. Just help me to a nearby hospital so that I can be fine. And that was how the guy carried me on his back with my stuff and he took me to the hospital. I never get to hear from my boyfriend again. Oh. And that was the end of that relationship. So after that experience, I am always scared to tell people I'm SS. That's always been difficult.
Wow. Like, my mouth is open because I'm like, wow, that guy has to be one of the most hardest people on earth.
To me, I feel like he actually don't know what to do.
I understand he could think that, oh, what if she's dying or something?
Exactly.
But at least take her to a hospital.
Exactly.
And that was what I told him.
Even if you would leave, you would take her to
the hospital. Yeah. So that
you can always just dump me there.
Was the dumping out by the roadside?
That's where thank God nothing happened to you, but if something was going to happen, that's where it would happen. Because that's where she would just die. And you will not know that it is actually the human being that actually, at that point, it's actually the human being. Because if the person is just taking you to a hospital, oh boy, that's a lot though.
It is.
I think that as human beings, we need to be more compassionate.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to be more compassionate.
I think empathy or compassion does not even have to do with you being educated or something. It's a humane thing to do.
Yeah.
Because see, someone I refer to as my boyfriend dumping me by the roadside only for an Agbero to come help me. You see?
Like, that's very, it's very deep. And you know, to be fair, now that I'm thinking about it, if I had seen you on the road, I'm asking myself, would I stop?
Exactly.
I'm actually thinking about it. Let me not lie. Will I stop?
Yeah, people are scared.
Yeah.
The whole thing that can come, the whole complications that can accompany such situation.
And you know, I feel like coming out from the car made people more scared because they will say they've used coming out from the guy's car. Yeah. Where is it coming from? Oh, you know this
ritual
stigma about ladies and all. So they're like, oh, it's coming down from a guy's car. So
like, I've heard stories like that a number of times. It's like, oh, she was used. Like, I feel like I need to take a moment to actually breathe in and breathe out.
Talking about our parents knowing our genotype or something, you see, most of our parents, this Gen Y's parents, they don't really have this awareness or knowledge about this sickle cell thing. Yeah. So if you're sick or you fall sick regularly, it's all Agbo or all of those things. Do you understand? So most of them don't really have enough understanding about it. That is why most people realize so late that they are living with sickle cell.
Yeah, I definitely understand
because
that.
And the whole genotype of a thing, it's not common then, like they're just living their life.
You can imagine how many children died and they said it was probably a biku.
People were like, oh,
exactly.
Oh, not knowing that it was genotype issues, right?
See, I could literally say that it was my friendship with her that exposed me to this genotype of a thing.
I can imagine.
You know, when you were saying that, I must feel lucky that you know, when you haven't felt hunger, you won't know the value of food.
Yeah,
do you understand? Yeah, so I really don't see it as a big deal.
Yeah. You don't see it as a big deal until you probably meet somebody who is struggling, or probably realize that, like, for me now, when I once I'm going on a date with you, once it's getting serious, the next question is, what's your genotype? In fact, there was a day I put on my Twitter, if your genotype is not AA, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me, right?
Yeah.
Because it becomes a big deal then. But then, did you know about this story of Ella? Did you ever?
I never shared this with anyone because I was so shy. Like, how was I going to open my mouth to even, I think that day, my mom was called and she came to the hospital. I had to lie to her how I got there. Like,
wow.
I could not say I was coming from a guy's place. I had to tell her, I went for a walk and along the line, I had crisis. I had to cook up something for her.
Wow.
And that was it.
I feel so honored to hear this time. So, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And then I think, how did your mom take it? Because I mean, you said you also had to go back and tell her, being a typical Nigerian woman, she's like, God forbid, he's not my child. So how did she deal with it?
Okay, so I think in my family, my mom has, she used to have sickle cell siblings. So she was used to sickle cell. So finding out that I had sickle cell then was not really, she was sad because she felt, I used to have people that live with sickle cell. How did I make such mistake that she wasn't expecting me to be sickle cell? But I think my mom relationship with my dad was just a one-time thing. So it was not as if they were serious or anything, So it was just a fling and that was it. So it was not really her fault. So she was just like, okay, don't worry, I'll be there. So she's always at my episode. So at some point I had to stop telling her that, I'm having crisis. I don't inform her because, I have other siblings. She needs to be there for them to. It does not have to always be about me. So most times I try to hide my pain from her. I just don't. I don't inform her. Not until it's serious. Maybe I need a blood. I need a donor, or maybe I need to be transferred to another hospitals. So that is the only time I have to just call her because it's not easy for me to call maybe my friends to come and stay with me. And most of my crises would always. I spend close to 3 to 4 days in the hospital whenever I'm on crisis. So I need someone to be there. And my crisis comes like. You know when you have a ram and it's not slaughtered, but you cut out one of his legs, so it's always very serious. There are times I could remember I had one crisis then and I was begging my mom that please just kill me. Like I was just begging, like I was begging her that, is there something you can give me? Just poison me, let me just go. Like it was that bad.
Wow.
So I was just trying to like. Okay. But one thing about my crisis is once it's gone, I'm fine. I'm back on my feet. But once I have that crisis, I'm like, you're welcome. Okay, come. We'll survive.
And here I am complaining about monthly period because that's one thing where I'm always very, very, very struggled with as a woman. But then listening to you is like, Jessica, shut up. You don't know anything.
I don't think... Okay.
She was talking about how mom and dad's relationship was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that is another aspect whereby we have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
What she talked about actually reminded me of my own story.
Yeah.
I have a son, and it was a one-time thing. Not a one-time thing. We were actually in a relationship. So it was not like the pregnancy was planned or something. So, and then, I don't think I was exposed to this genotype. Of a thing. So let's imagine if he was a carrier and I was a carrier as well. You see, we would have
There's possibility.
A warrior. See? So I really didn't know much then. But later on, I'm just grateful that what if? So whether one-time thing or not, I think we should be very, 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 very careful.
Yeah.
We can't be too careful.